yeah, the recruiting thing, Tristan, it's funny. I brought that up, and when Patrick and I prepped, part of me was like, I don't know if I should even bring it up, but
Makes sense though.
a follow-up or a high value, hey, congrats on that closing. Like there's literally 1,000 things you can do. Like send them a congrats on a closing. They'll be like, my broker doesn't even do this. Like it's easy.
Yeah, that's very true, man. I like that. It's a matter of getting into a groove of doing it. That's really the key. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Happy Monday. I love starting all of my videos with happy whatever day it is, only because it annoys some people, but happy Monday. We've got Lee. What's up, Lee? How are you?
Hello.
And for those of you who know Lee or he looks familiar, that's because he's big on the follow-up boss side of things. He's a consultant, good friend of mine. Look him up. Lee, put up your link, dude, so people can find what you do and how you do it. And then Patrick, what's up, Patrick?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
He says he's fully awake because it's 4:30 a.m. in Australia. And I believe him. Sounds fully awake to me. Let's talk about Cardly and QR codes. Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate you for joining us on this.
No, my pleasure, as always. Like we've had a couple of really good discussions already about what it is we do. And I thought this is one of our big points of difference. It's a thing that we do that I think others have tried to do, but what we've always seen is, handwritten stuff works extremely well. Obviously, that's what we do, right? So we allow people to send handwritten mail, whether it be a letter, a postcard, a note card, or a greeting card, hence the name Cardly. But what we're able to do with that now, because we really embraced QR codes, is just that ability to so this is the sort of stuff we send, but the beauty of the QR codes is you're going from really effective outreach, handwritten mail, everyone knows it works extremely well. We know it's pretty much close to 100% open rate. The cards come in craft envelopes with real hand affixed stamps. They're incredibly engaging. People respond to them. But it's like, well, how do you then measure that? How do you, we know that that's happening, but how do we actually measure it? How do we action it? And yeah, we landed on QR codes. We also do gift cards and some other things that we can track, but it's going from being at sort of incidental, oh, well, they may ring you, they may not ring you, they may reach out and just say thanks for, sending me a birthday card, whatever it might be that you've used as your piece of outreach. But how do you then go and action that? What do you do about it? How do you know about it? So yeah, that's kind of what I think on your suggestion, that's what we thought we'd talk about today. We've obviously talked about how to do some of these sorts of things, but yeah, how do you measure it? How do you action it? Is kind of what
here's why I wanted to talk about it. Lee, tell me what you think on this, but holidays aren't over, right? We had Thanksgiving. Now we're about to head into Christmas and New Year's and other holidays. Now is the perfect opportunity to pick one of these up and start delivering authentic messaging. Do I think your core group of people, core past clients, core sphere, and then measure through the QR code with whatever the call to action is, how many people actually engage with what I'm offering or giving? Lee, how do you see this, man?
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I mean, I think, measuring it obviously is super important, but I think fundamentals more than ever are where it's at, right? I mean, in the world of AI, and I'm going to do this, and I want this chat bot to magically convert my leads for me. Like, this is the way to stand out. I was telling Patrick and I did a quick prep call, and I literally have this card from a good friend and client still sitting on my desk from like 3 months ago, just because it's sweet and it's nice. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. He wrote me a card and took the time to send it. It works. Do it. And to your point, Tristan, MVP level stuff, I think a lot of times that's minimum viable product. I think a lot of times people are like, I got to get a whole database in there, and then I got to send 10,000 cards, and then I'm gonna, and it's so much harder. We talked about this a little bit in the last webinar, to either start now with your closings or birthdays, but start now, start simple. And the more you use it, you're going to go, oh, I could use this for recruiting. oh, I could use this to send out a card to the dude I just met at the coffee shop earlier. So just getting started is step number one.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you brought up some good points. I think we could really identify who is going to be the audience that I'm using this for in the next week or two. For me, Lee, I didn't even think about recruiting, but I like the idea. I'm like, oh crap, I missed an opportunity. All right, so recruiting. Now that Lee brought it up, I love that idea. That's one. Number two is, what about your neighbors, right? If you want to go deeper into the community, just your neighbors. It don't have to be a lot, 10, 20, easy. Next, your, like I was saying, core past clients, if you want to go there, maybe your top 20, top 25. And then if you want to go deeper, what about your close friends, those people that know you and you know well, you continually see? Those would be great for the holidays. And then if you want to use this to go a lot deeper and you've got at least those first few down, then you could start looking at this and saying, well, maybe I could go into my community where I farm or where I want to farm, and then expand that way and have this be part of a bigger plan.
Yep. And we talked about this on the last webinar, so maybe we can grab the link to that. But you can do campaigns within Cardly. That's not what this webinar is about. But the idea that once you kick it off, you could potentially run more of a campaign style thing. You can still blast mail if that's your choice when you have people in there. And you can connect it to your CRM to say, hey, when their birthday's in 5 days, do this thing, do that thing. When their house anniversary is coming up, automate or press a button to send a card. So having that system is really where it's at. You know, why are we doing it? Who are we sending it to? And what's it doing?
So here's my question on that. And for you, Patrick, if I'm going to use this, but I want to have better success for people clicking on the QR code, what would either of you suggest I have in that QR code? Because I want to be able to track.
Yeah. So this is where we've kind of really thought about that. It's like, okay, well, how do you track it? And what people are typically doing is putting one generic QR code in for all. So it's like, well, okay, you're getting them to go somewhere, and then you're still relying on them to do that thing. If they don't fill out that form, and maybe it's not even a thing that can be measured, like, you know, they're just going to be an anonymous YouTube watcher or whatever page you've sent them to, you're then relying on them actually taking the action, and then hopefully taking maybe 2 or 3 actions down the line before you actually get a contact back from them. So we thought, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and that's the problem with static QR codes, is they don't give you that visibility. So what we do that's quite different, and you know what's on screen is an example of that, is that let's say this person was sending out a house anniversary card. So this is all being fully automated by the system. And on year 10, it's saying, hey, you know, do you want to just know what your property's worth today? You know, like, let's give you an idea of what your house is doing in the market. And if they scan on it, they're going to go to either a very specific page that's designed for that property, so you can actually go really deep, and that QR code can be unique. Or even if it isn't, if it's just going to like a booking page to book a meeting with you, if that's the case. In our world, it doesn't matter if it's unique to the individual or a generic destination. Each QR code, just like the card's going to be personalized, is personalized to the individual. So every QR code is entirely unique. So we're going to get into a demo bit in a second, but
cool.
I've got some examples here of like some letters and some cards, you know, that they're fake campaigns, but they're campaigns. And even though they're going to the same place, and I'll demonstrate that they're going to the same place, the QR code itself in each of them, just like it's personalized to, what's this one say, dear Andrew and I can't even read that name, Olivia, I think it is. You know, the QR code is different to the one that's just going to someone else. And that allows us to not only see who's responding, but it actually goes a bit deeper than that. It's when did they scan? How many times did they scan? And more importantly, if you're using this for any sort of prospecting or nurturing, you're actually seeing who specifically is engaged. So let's say you sent, to your example, Tristan, you know, a small number, let's say 20, but even just chasing up 20 people is a lot of work if you don't know which 20 are actually engaged. The beauty of this is you can go, to your reporting screen and go, well, these are the 19, 20 people I sent to. Well, who responded? Who should I be chasing back up with? Who should I be spending my very valuable time on to go and engage with, to try and turn that into a listing? So yeah, this is the real beauty of it, is you're going from offline, where it's really effective, but back into
Mhm.
online. You're bringing back those smarts of the digital, sort of like email, right? So when you send an email campaign, you can see who responded, who didn't respond, and that allows you to be more effective with your time to go back to the right people. So yeah, we've thought about that side of it a lot. I don't know if there's many people out there doing the whole personalized QR thing in this space, because it's difficult to execute on, but because of the way we do our thing, it's something we absolutely encourage. The other thing we do as well is that if you were doing let's say someone had given you a great review, and sorry, I should point out, like, these are the sorts of things QR codes can land to, as well as like review pages, and so someone's had a good experience with you and you want to get a Google review or a review on any other sort of real estate agent reviews page, you can have them do that straight from a QR code deep to a link. Like, so not only is the call to action important, but they don't have to do too much from that point, because it's not like they have to go and enter a URL and hopefully spell it correctly. They literally pick up their phone, scan it, and they're doing the thing that you've asked them to do, which is also great, right?
I was thinking about this deeper, Patrick, over the weekend. So I was looking at what we were going to talk about, and I was thinking, I haven't tested this out, and this is what I want to test out. We have a section on our website for our real estate team locally, where we have the best service providers we've used in the past 2 years, right? So we always update
Yep.
it. And so we're thinking of how we can use Cardly just for our local community. Say, hey, we're always testing and using service providers. In fact, recently, today, my plumber's amazing. One of my rentals has a problem, and now it's too much grease in pipes, which sucks, but now we need another guy, which I've never used. He's going to be in our service provider network now, as soon as he finishes and does a good job. But if I'm writing a letter and I add that piece, which is saying, hey, I just use this person, or we just refer this person, we have a list of other ones, scan, and now you have the list too. We're thinking that would be a good call to action. We just haven't tested that out yet. But what do you guys, Lee, what do you think, man?
I love that. I think the other big thing is just kind of what you guys both alluded to, just narrowing to the best people to follow up with. You send 100 cards and 20 people open it, great. There you go. Like, even we say when people unsubscribe, like, good, we're not, take them out of your smart list or whatever. Like, it's that intel that you need to narrow from 10,000 people, 50,000 people to like, who are the 20 that I should call today? And so that informs your call to action and where the QR code links. I love the vendor thing idea. I think that's a great idea. And then again, follow up with the people maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, and be like, hey, did you use anybody on there? Were they good? Just, I mean, it's not rocket science, but some reason we like to make it.
I like the
let me
I like that. See who's on.
Let me demonstrate just how easy that concept is, right? So let's say this is back in your Brilliant Tribe example we've kind of used the last couple of times. And so we've got a campaign here. This is a letter campaign. So as I've mentioned before, you can do letters, postcards, greeting cards, a folded card, which is great for the holidays. But we did a letter campaign in this example. So if I go up to in your account here, and I'm looking at QR code scan, so I want to actually see who responded to the QR codes, the letter that I sent out. And I can see really quickly at a glance who scanned and when they scanned. So I've got other things in here. I've got all of the campaigns that have ever been sent from this account using that have got QR codes incorporated in them. This one, for example, was actually a greeting card that was sent to thank. Oh, sorry, it was to congratulate someone on moving into a house, and I'll show you that one in a sec. But all of the rest of them, I believe, are from one particular campaign, which was this post-December seminar. That was our scenario. You've run a seminar and you've wanted to work out who was engaged and wanted to sign up for something additional. So I'll show you what the campaign looked like. If we go to the campaign screen. So we had this, it's 19 people, so not dissimilar to what we were talking about. So a personalized letter to the recipient and this call to action. So scan out to not miss a beat, so it's calling out to sign up for more, signed off, and sent off to, individual couples in this instance. Now, what I've got over here is literally a copy of a couple of these letters. Now, if I look at our reporting and go to our QR code scan report. So one of the examples was this Andrew and Sonia, it was. Gee, my spelling is terrible. Or my writing is terrible. It's not.
That's why you have Cardly, worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty.
But so this is just me printing it locally. Obviously, this would have been printed and sent out for you. But if I go and scan that code right now, and it was for the, I think it's the Andrew Walsh one here. So it's not showing as having a scan, this one, but I've scanned it. It's gone to directly to your web page. So it's going to you. If I hit refresh on here now, it should show that. I think it was this one. Now has a scan against it.
I really like the letter, the way the letter looks. If I'm going to do this vendor service provider campaign, I'm probably going to use the letter.
Yeah, I mean, letters are great. And that's the advantage. You just use the thing that's appropriate for this thing. So I literally just scanned it. It's got my local time as having just done it right now. So I can see that scanned. Now, if I go and scan it again, it'll go to, it'll go to a count of 2. I can show greater engagement. The other thing that's possible, which I think is even more interesting, is if you have the means to do it, and maybe you need someone like Lee in your life to make this happen, but you can use unique QR codes for very specific things that trigger back into your CRM. You can add UTM tags and do all sorts of really weird and wonderful deeper linking that makes other things happen. So to demonstrate that, when we first created this account, Tristan, you got this sample card. So I won't spoil the fun for anyone who decides to request a sample card from us, but you haven't scanned that yet. But I've got a copy of what you received. Now, in our world, we give you some free credits when you do that. So currently, the credit that's sitting on the account is 80. Now, using the exact same technology that is available to people that want to use Cardly, I'm going to scan your QR code that was in your card, and it comes to a very specific landing page that talks to you, and it literally says, "Welcome to Cardly, Tristan," and has some very specific calls to action around. I should show the mobile version, but it's very specific to you. And what's happened as well, if I hit refresh, so I've done nothing else on screen, it'll go to 83 credits because you've just got your free credits. So you can make stuff happen with these QR codes. There you go. It just went to 83 credits because I've gone and scanned it for the first time. So you can do things that are quite deep, but then have a consequence, have an action. More likely you're going to have something happen in your QR code, in your CRM, somewhere where you're used to going to see what actions are taking place. But in my world, that's triggered an email to say, "Hey, Tristan's just scanned that QR code. You should go out to him and see what he thought of the card. Whether he's ready to have a demo session or whatever it might be." So really powerful stuff to be able to go from engagement and highly engaged to action, measurability, and then what are you going to do about that? And then if you think about that in the context of what we're really all here for, which is to nurture those core contacts and keep them engaged, and then hopefully drive them to a new listing, a referral, ultimately a sale. These are great ways of being able to measure the efficacy of what you're doing, even if you just wanted to do a test and learn. So let's say your scenario was 20, but let's say you had 200 contacts that you wanted to send to. You've got an idea of a letter campaign. There's nothing that says you have to send all 200 in the first go. Maybe you've got enough time to actually go, well, let's do a little A/B test, just like you would with an email. Let's send 10 people this version and 10 people this version and see which one gets the most scans. So all of a sudden you can start to do some really cool test and learn things before you scale up. And nothing ever needs to stay static. at any point in time, you could go, well,
Hmm.
it kind of worked, but we think these tweaks might make it better. The call to action maybe wasn't strong enough, whatever it might be. So it's really helped us take it to another level. I think, as I said from the outset, handwritten mail, great. Definitely works. It's always worked. Like Lee's, got his example there. These things stick around. They have a great way of creating engagement. It's then coming up with creative things that work for you in terms of what you then turn that into, whether it be a referral program, reviews, whatever. What I might do as well is just quickly show, because one of the other ways that we can measure engagement is not necessarily when it's just totally on them from an expectation point of view as to what they're going to do for us. It can be just to say thank you and to measure whether they've got the thing that we said thank you with.
Right.
So I had,
Right. You could just follow up and say, hey, I hope you got my card. Even if they didn't open it, because you sent them one.
That's probably the best one, dude.
Right. And the people are like, oh no, I didn't get it. And you're like, oh great, now you're engaged. Or, oh, we did get it. We've been really busy. The other thing I want to throw in, sorry, Patrick, if this throws things off, because I know Tristan will do this. Send out a card with a QR code in it that says, let's be friends, and link them to your freaking Instagram. Like, come on. This isn't that hard. It's not that hard.
That's a good
Let's be
one.
friends. Go to my Instagram.
So in this scenario, what we've done is, let's say someone's just moved into their new home and you're pretty confident, like you've known the date when they were moving in. So instead of sending, having to really think about the gifting and so on, you could just go, well, let's send them an amazing gift voucher. And that's something we support in the system. So this is like a welcome home. Congratulations on your new purchase of a particular address. This is all triggered from a CRM. So something's happened in the CRM. There was a date of closure in there that might have been triggered to go out a week or two afterwards, depending on what you might have set up or configured, but fully automated, going out with so this is from a template that's pre-built in the system. And you can see, we've given them like a $250 Instacart voucher, but that could be anything. So just to give you some idea of the scale of the gifting options, we've got, I think it's around 200 different vouchers that you can include. So you just find that thing that's most appropriate. But the beauty of them is that, just like the QR codes, is that you can actually go and measure when people are redeeming. So that one hasn't been redeemed yet, but if it had been redeemed, you would see it in here. You would know when they redeemed it and be able to contact them and say, hey, I saw that you redeemed that Instacart voucher. I hope it helped. What was the first meal you cooked in your house? I'm not saying that that's the perfect example, but you've just got so much more visibility. You can see what's going on, and you can act on it. And yeah, I think that just creates some really interesting opportunities to just take that engagement and relationship a little bit further.
I have a question for Lee, Patrick. I love that. Lee, when we have a contact in Follow-Up Boss and we change them to now past client day one, have you already created a trigger that can do something like this through Zap?
Yes, but the trigger is the date. And one of the things I love about Cardly is that they focus more on a received date or a receivable date, or whatever the right term for that is. They're really focused on when it arrives, because they're in multiple markets, and in Canada it's slower or faster than the US. In the UK it's faster. Yep. I know that. So what's cool is they focus on that. But Tristan, what we do in, say, a Follow Boss, we say when the closing date or when the birthday is in 10 days, send to Cardly, but we can map the date for it to arrive to Cardly. So it's even cooler than just saying, 14 days before, do something. It's like 14 days before, tee it up, and then it's going to arrive around the right time, thanks to Cardly, not just we're hoping it does.
Got it. Okay.
So it's pretty
that
sweet.
Makes a lot of sense. I like that. And
it is native. Like, I mean, it is Zapier, but it's native in the sense that, like, the Zap is, when birthday is in 14 days, send this card and this template in Cardly.
I like that, man. So Patrick, Christmas is coming up pretty quick. How soon should we be sending these Christmas cards out so that they get there on time? Because I know things slow down for the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, USPS does definitely slow down, but not for mail. ironically, like parcels is always the challenge. So you've got up until the 15th of December with us to submit an order and was to get it there before Christmas. So there's still actually 11 days. So there's still plenty of time.
Nice.
All right.
And
it's Monday, like you said, Tristan. It's Monday. No better day to.
Look, I just want people to grab a list of 10 people,
Right.
make it small at the beginning, and just be like, how will it work with these 10 people? And where do I want to lead them to? I think that the missing piece is, it's always been, I want a call to action. I want them to perform something, an action on this card, so I can track whether or not this is actually working. Right. That's why I love this, like this specifically.
Yeah, I think that that's always been great, that you can at least link from offline to online and get them to just, because call to actions always require people. Because I've come from e-commerce, it's like, how do you make it as frictionless as possible? And the QR code, now that people sort of understand them, is a great way of making it from idea to to execution so much faster. Where we've just taken that and put it on steroids just slightly is to say, well, each one of those is unique. So not only can you just see, well, generally, how is it performing? You can actually go granular and say, well, did Tristan scan? Did Lee scan? Oh, Lee really liked it. He scanned it 4 times. Like, okay, I need to talk to Lee. He's either not using his mobile phone properly, or he's like really into going to my site and
you
doing
can send
this
me a
thing.
card with the QR code to a video on how to use QR codes.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'll never scan the damn QR code in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so good. I love it.
But yeah, Patrick, and I love that point, Patrick, too. I think, because I do a lot of webinars like this too, and everybody's like, what's the magic thing? The hard thing is you have to figure out the magic thing. We can tell you 100% all day how to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if your people are going to respond better to a gift card to a restaurant, or a QR code that says, watch this for a fun video I made you, or whatever you want it to be. But you've got all of those options, and they all work with the system. And yeah, the recruiting thing, Tristan, it's funny. I brought that up, and when Patrick and I prepped, part of me was like, I don't know if I should even bring it up, but
makes sense though.
A follow-up or a high value, hey, congrats on that closing. Like, there's literally 1,000 things you can do. Like, send them a congrats on a closing. They'll be like, my broker doesn't even do this. Like, it's easy.
Yeah, that's very true, man. I like that. And it's a matter of getting into a groove of doing it. That's really the key. For those of you who want to sign up, we've got that link, 10 free credits and 40
so I mean,
for 12 months. Anything else you're adding to that, Patrick? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty seamless. You just go through that process, upload your logo. You'll be halfway towards doing one of these campaigns just by signing up. So, and we've got a whole bunch of tutorials, and we'll get on calls with you, as particularly when you're starting out. It's like anything else, it's new. Probably don't know how to get you.
Actually, I want to double down on that super quick, because I met Patrick working on this with a client. He was unbelievably responsive to like any question I had. I didn't even know he was on the other side of the world until we met and started talking. He was just quick, great responses. I'm like, great. I don't have to, it wasn't a knowledge-based article. It was like, here's how you do this. So I just want to second or third how great their support is.
That's funny.
Appreciate that.
That's because Patrick is really not real. It's
right.
It's a really high quality AI chatbot you're speaking to right now. Yeah.
I love the accent, Patrick. I think I'm going to switch my accent to your accent. I love it. Thanks, everybody. Check out Cardly. Patrick, I need to switch probably the card account that I have over to my real estate team, so we can start using it locally. So I'll hit you up with that. Lee, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, me.
And for those of you who want to learn more about what Lee is, scroll up. You'll see the link there. But sign up for Cardly. I don't think you'll find a better deal as far as pricing. So thanks for doing that, Patrick.
Very welcome. Looking forward to working with as many people from the LCA community as possible. So sounds great.
Any questions you have, let us know. I'm about to post that link into LabCoatAgents too, just in case you didn't click on it. So thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. Or early morning, Patrick.
Yeah. See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See y'all.
Bye.